Have you always wanted to be a millionaire real estate investor, but you don't know where to start and you're wondering what's holding you back? Well, this is our conversation starting now.
Yeah, hello, this is Gary Masseri, and this is Opportunities for Real Estate Investors. We want to talk about the things that anchor people down. Why do they not think that they're good enough to succeed, Ginger? And that's always, a lot of stuff has held me back. I've been on this roller coaster up and down all my life, and I want to share with people a little bit about your story, my story, about what really we had to go through and then become successful, millionaire builders and investors and building $4 million homes. So I've always been a very hard worker. I've always been committed to setting hard goals and trying to achieve those goals. I always made big, hairy, audacious goals, and I was a good planner. But, other people seemed to succeed more than I did. And it always bothered me that, why I couldn't have the success other people really had. And, I started really diving into motivational training. I've studied under some of the best coaches out there, read some of the best motivational books, but it wasn't until I read one book by Brian Tracy called Focus. And in that book, what clicked for me is when Brian said, nobody's smarter than you, nobody's better than you. And Ginger, I thought to myself, man, that makes sense. And then the next sentence he said, there's not one skill that you cannot learn. And when that hit me and the light kind of went on, I kept thinking, why am I not good enough? I can study. I can, dive into these courses. I can go to these seminars. Mm-hmm. I can learn. I can read books just like everybody. I can get the knowledge. Knowledge I always was taught was power, right? That you can get this knowledge. But the harder I worked at that, the more I felt like I felt. And I just didn't live up to, the friends of mine who were doing very well successfully. And even though I was a good real estate broker, I still felt like I was just bottled down. And I'll share a couple of things I think that held me back. When I was a kid, I felt rejected all the time. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to hang out with with the tough guys in the block. And I remember going down into the gully, and these guys pushed me into the gully and threw rocks at me and actually split my head open in the back. What? And I felt so rejected by that. And it's always held me back because I would think about it. I know a lot of people have these experiences where somebody yells at them and tells them they're no good and they're not worth anything and they'll never amount to anything. Mm-hmm. All of that could be issues that hold people back. But thank God that I had a couple people in my life that really believed in me. And I remember I was one of the managing owners of a very large mortgage company in Northern California. And the broker owner came into my office and he said, Gary, what's your goal? And I go, Glenn, what do you mean? He said, well, what's your goal? And out of nowhere, I just said, Glenn, I would just like to retire at $50,000 a month income, with a pure cash flow. And I thought I was just pulling it right on my butt, because I had to think real quick on my feet, right? It's really funny. And the reality is that Glenn hit me so hard with this statement. He said, why are you capping yourself? And I thought, what do you mean? He said, you're worth $2 or $3 million a year. And when he said that, it felt like these chains just came off of me, and I felt kind of elevated, I felt really good and free. And I said, why? Why not? And that afternoon, I drove home and I saw this apartment building, and I said to myself, I can own that building. And I knew I could if I wanted to. Ginger, once I had that breakthrough, what was really cool is all of a sudden I was around friends, you being one of them, that took me to a meetup group. I started meeting these people that were highly successful in real estate. One character made over $4 million, that last year, and I thought, oh my God, and I wasn't that impressed, but it's like, my God, if he can do it, I can do it, it's one of those type of things. And then I found out he went to a really high-end real estate school that he studied for a couple of years, And I looked into it. I mean, the cost of that school was like $50,000. I mean, I didn't have the money, you know. But instead of saying to myself, I can't find the money, I said, you know what? I'm going to find the money. I felt so empowered. I'm going to find the freaking money. If this guy can make $4 million a year, I can make $4 million a year. I'm finding the money. And so guess what? I went around and I talked to other people and found out that they had gone through the same course and they sold membership in that course. So I started selling membership at $10,000, $15,000 a pop. And actually, I paid for the whole course and made a couple bucks on it. You know, my entrepreneurialism came out. But for 2 years, I know you and I both went through the same school and my wife went through it. And we just, every boot camp, flying to Atlanta, I mean, we studied everything. Took all the boot camps on every aspect of real estate. We took all the online courses. We took personal coaching. And we just, you know, engrossed ourselves into that knowledge of what we did. Now, the first flip I did out of school, not very many people can achieve this, but we actually made $150,000 in a bad partnership. You know, it was always... I had to fight the bad partnership, but you know, I figured out in real estate, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fall down, you're going to lose a little bit, but you learn on your way. So I know now I got the greatest partners in the world, Ginger being one of them, and we're having fun and we're enjoying it and we're having a great time. So I'm going to read off some of the lessons and I'm going to turn it over to Ginger. You know, I'm a little lengthy here, but here's some of the lessons I believe. Lesson number 1: you got to believe in yourself, right, Ginger? You just can't. You can't bury yourself all the time thinking you can't do something. You know, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What you focus on, you get. All right? So believe in yourself first. Lesson 2, don't compare yourself to other people. There's nobody better than you, nobody smarter than you. There's not a skill you can't learn. Everybody's got different gifts that God has given them. Okay? You know, have a dream. It takes just as much energy to dream big as it does small. So why not have a dream? Okay, and then write that dream down. You know, and then lesson 4, fight for it. Commit to it. Whatever it takes to achieve that dream, you don't give up on it. Okay? I remember setting goals and right up to midnight, you know, like 10 minutes before midnight, because my goal was at, you know, change at midnight. That was the deadline for it. I made 2 or 3 calls and man, I made my goal within like 2 or 3 minutes of being 12. Okay? Isn't that cool? All right. 5, we're going to make mistakes. Allow that to be your training blocks. Okay? Don't let that get you down and beat yourself up on it. You're going to make mistakes. Number 6, when there's no way, faith and thinking about how, you know, your success, and think about your successes, not your failures, you'll find strength in your thinking and you will move forward in your life. So keep that in mind. Okay. 7 is always focus. Think about your goals. You know, put energy into your goals. Put life into your goals. Think about your goals. Number 8, get around people who are successful. This lady for 3 years is one of the best motivators I've ever run into. She's always believed in me, telling me how smart I am. She always encourages me on everything, which is good. And she always challenges me too. So that's a good point. Write down your goals. I wrote a goal. It took me 10 years on another one to become an Amazon best-selling author. And, you know, I became that. All right, 10. Find the right partners in business to share your dreams and work with and motivate one another. So that's my story. Those are my lessons, Ginger. How about you?
Good stories. Good stories.
Well,
Thank
well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know it already.
No, it's still a good story. We always love a good story, right?
Yeah, right.
So one of the things I know for sure, I was just telling someone this the other day, that when typically when you see people who are successful, they are always growing. They're always learning. They've got the books, they've got the tapes, they've got the videos. I've seen $1 million libraries with millions of dollars of books, tapes, courses, and so on. Okay, they're people committed to growing. Some people, they go to college, if they go to college, and then they stop learning after college. But that is not what you don't see that in this industry. They're always growing, taking the next class, learning from each other, right? So my story is, I was not motivated by a huge amount of money. I had a ministry to support at the time. It was a volunteer ministry that I believed in, and I thought buying rental properties would give me the cash flow that I needed to succeed, and it did. So that was my original motivation. But again, I started reading a book on multiple streams of income by Robert Allen, taking the master classes, and Nothing Down by Robert Allen, Charles Gibbons, Tony Robbins. This is in the early 90s. I started learning this very early on as a young girl. Earl Nightingale in my teens.
I love
I had to, Yeah, Earl Nightingale's the best, right? So Matthew McConaughey is known for driving a truck, listening to Earl Nightingale while he was truck driving.
Oh,
Thinking about how he was going to become a famous actor one day, right? So these are the common denominators. So if you're in a situation where you're being held back, start listening to the greats and start believing in yourself, because believing in yourself, I always hear that, believe in yourself, but you can't just believe in yourself if you've been taught not to believe in yourself. It's a process. So I like it to think of it as you have a cup of water when you're young, right? And your cup of water is your consciousness, and it's either dirty or it's clean or it's poisoned or however it is. If you have great parents, you have a nice fresh cup of water. But if you've have toxic situation in your life, you have a dirty, polluted cup of water, and you need fresh water to be poured into your consciousness, fresh water, and then you need to get rid of the dark water, the dirty water, which is the bad beliefs, the things that hold you back. You need to be constantly refreshing. And if you have thoughts in the back of your mind that say you're not going to succeed, you're a loser, whatever they are, they didn't come from you, they came from your environment. So start by cleaning up that environment, getting rid of the dirty water, and then pouring in fresh water. And it's a constant process until you have nice fresh water. But once you have fresh water, the sky's the limit.
That's right.
Right? You can just go for it, right? But then you have to keep it clean, because our environment is always trying to be toxic, just like our bodies, right? We're eating and drinking every day. We want to keep the best water and food in us and get rid of the bad stuff. It's the same thing with our mind and with our consciousness. So I started reading books, tapes, Tony Robbins, all that good stuff, and then started setting goals, and then things started happening. But oftentimes in life, the roller coaster is because you allow other influences to push on you and bring you down the road that you don't want.
Too many times. Right.
So one of the things Tony Robbins said a long time ago, and I'm sure he got it from somewhere because he got everything from somewhere, stand guard at the door of your mind.
Wow. Very powerful.
Stand guard at the door of your mind, and then keep standing guard. Like literally every day you're going to have some sort of crosswinds, cross pressure that's going to push you away from your goals. And so you need to dig in your heels and really focus. And then what I do, and I've been doing it for many, many years, and to the extent that I fail, and I do positive affirmations. I do positive affirmations almost every day. And now that I do video affirmations, audio affirmations, written affirmations, and then just keep focus, but make it a game and make it enjoyable. Don't make it like a chore, because if you make it a chore, then you won't enjoy it, and then you won't enjoy your life. So those are the things that I do.
Great things.
Yeah. So through those years, I learned a lot, and I bought rental properties. I bought 1 6-family, renovated it, bought another 6-family, renovated it, bought a 9-family, and played Monopoly. And that's how it went. So at the time where I got a divorce at one point, a lot of women get a divorce and they have nothing. I've been working, and I worked with clients like that, right? They have nothing. They weren't set up. So when I got a divorce, I had something. I had assets, and then when I cashed them out, I had cash to start new. And so I recommend, and I was telling women to take care of themselves, because the world's not going to take care of you. Prince Charming may or may not be right around the corner. You never know.
Don't make a man your plan.
You never know. You never know. If he is, that's great. That's awesome. But if not, take care of yourself. So I was able to set myself up, became a mortgage broker in 2000, and then I didn't flip another property until 2009 because the California prices, I moved from Massachusetts to California, and the pricing structure didn't make sense to have rentals at the time until 2009, when I started flipping and buying rentals, because it started making, the numbers made sense until they didn't make sense anymore. And right now it's a little bit more challenging in this Bay Area to get rentals, at least onesie twosies. At least in this area, right? So real estate market, it always presents opportunities. And so it's like a never-ending stream, but we can't take advantage of everything, and we can't take advantage of anything if we're not paying attention to what's going on, right? So if we're paying attention, get a pulse in the market, ask good questions, and have good mentors, then we can take advantage. So for example, in the 90s, when I started buying rentals, in Massachusetts, the numbers made sense. Then in the early 2000s, it made sense to be a mortgage broker.
The timing.
Until it became more challenging. And then short selling and flipping properties in 2009. But these were different key opportunities throughout the years. And now there are other opportunities. Right now, what we're doing right now with luxury flips, we're just really buying properties for the land value in Silicon Valley here, right? So that's a really strong opportunity. A friend of mine raises houses up because vertical is very valuable, right? So he'll make double the square footage on a small footprint. That's the value here in the Bay Area. So there's always opportunities. It's a matter of finding something that resonates with you and looking for them, and then getting a good team first off, not second off like we've done. We've had bad teams, and then you got to unwind things, right? So having good teams, I've had good teams and I've had bad teams, but that's a big focus. It's the same principle of the muddy water. Do you want your team to be muddy, right? Or do you want to have fresh, clear water as a team? And sometimes you don't always know, because sometimes people who look good on paper don't end up being as good as you think. So find a good team to work with right away. And if you're learning the process, if you have money to invest, but you don't want to make mistakes that's going to really hurt your bank account, find a good team to plug into so that you don't have to be the one learning all the mistakes by yourself. That was another good point I wanted to bring up, that we really help each other, and we have a number of friends today that I know I've saved my friends tens of thousands of dollars because they're in a situation and they come to me and I say, no, don't do that. Talk to this person first or do that. And I know it, and I have much satisfaction of knowing I've saved them money. And we go to each other, right? So one mistake, you talked about the $50,000 investment in your education that you end up recouping, but one mistake in real estate development or investing can easily cost you $50,000. That's snack money for the market if you do it wrong, right? But if you invest in your education, you invest in people around you, and we help each other because we all want each other to succeed. We don't want each other to fail. So we're like, watch out for that landmine, watch out for that booby trap over there, and then here's an opportunity over here. Let's go take a look at this and analyze it, right? So with respect, we all really respect the power of real estate investing. I certainly do. And also we know how risky it can be, but it does keep us on our toes. It keeps us growing and changing and learning, all the time. And I have a number of friends who would have retired years ago if this wasn't such a fascinating world. Really, we want to stay young. We want to stay fresh and sharp mentally, and this is an area to do it. Right, so our contractor Mike, he doesn't have to work at all, but he works because he wants to stay physically active. He loves staying physically active and keeps his mind going. Right, so it's we talk about retirement, but then we don't want to do it anyway. So I never recommend anybody retire. We talk about it.
We have fun.
Yeah, we talk about it, but who wants to retire? There are better things to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah. Never work a day in your life when you love what you do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It makes sense. So anyway, Ginger, thank you for sharing that. And so look, if any of you are out there just feel that you've been blocked all these years and you just can't make a headway on it, please, go to our website at reifortunes.com. Again, reifortunes.com. We're not selling you anything. And you can book an appointment with Ginger and I. Click here and there, whoever you identify with. And we'll spend some time with you. Now, we limit it to about 15 minutes, for these Q&A sessions. Sometimes they run over. But we'll strongly look at what you're going through and see what we can do to help you get out of it and get going and get on the right road and have the success and the belief system that you need and get rid of the stinking thinking, right? So we're going to help you do that. Now, if you're a first-time investor and you want to do some more passive income investing, that's our alley. That's our wheelhouse. So please go to our website again at reifortunes.com. Look at our showcase of homes, where we're building these luxury homes with very high profits. And you're more seasoned, qualified people. We're actually offering partnerships and shares in our company. So that's very exciting as well. So again, get in contact with us. And thank you for listening to us. I hope you enjoyed the show. And we look forward to talking to you next week. So with that being said, goodbye. And
see you next week.
See you next week. Bye-bye.